Hey, okay, so first of all, if there are cuts in this video, I'm sorry, but my internet for some reason wants to cut out and wants to drop this particular, well, a lot of my, it's really frustrating. This month alone, just this month, for some reason, the internet wants to drop everything. I've tried to do this video about 4 times, and in the middle of it, all of a sudden it's dropped, it's restarting. So I've had it. I've absolutely had it. In fact, when I was trying to put up the patterns for this, it took longer than it should have. I don't know what's going on. And when I talked to my family about it, they're like, oh, well, I never upload anything, which is a lie. I know that they do. And my dad does all the time, but it's like, that's neither here or there. But it's like all of a sudden when I need help on something, he's like, I don't know. It's I don't know. So if there's cuts, that's why. My internet all of a sudden decided to be Y2K all over again. It's just I it wasn't fun the first time. Anyway, and I don't feel like trying to get I actually uninstalled Zoom, reinstalled it, had to go through all that. It's 2 in the morning. I started this at 11. Fun times. Okay. So, yes, what you see behind me is in the shop, in the pattern shop. Legend of Mana characters are up. This is actually a set. And the other character is Monique. And Shampoo from Rama One Half. Somehow she didn't make it when I was putting up all my all my patterns. Not sure how that happened, but all right. So the point of this video is not to rant, but actually when I did the Max Fleischer video and that reaction to Somewhere in Dreamland, one of you mentioned another Christmas cartoon by Max Fleischer. And so I wanted to, I actually looked it up, watched it. Now the song is in my head, so in a good way. And it actually took out Henry VIII by Herman's Hermits. And that song has been in my head all year. I enjoy that song very much, but sometimes you need a break. So I watched the cartoon, and now I've been trying to, as I'm sure you've noticed, try to wear my eyeliner more and get back into that because lockdown, I didn't want to waste my eyeliner or anything because we weren't going anywhere. And I got lazy with it. Well, I'm trying to get back into wearing my eyeliner, and this one it has all the feels to it. It really does. So when I was watching, I'm like, nope, there's no way I'm wearing my eyeliner. Streaks for days. Streaks for days. So, and again, we'll see how this goes with the dropping and everything. Frustrating, I know, but anyway, let's get into it, shall we? I actually miss little catchy songs like this in cartoons. I was so glad to grow up because they showed these a lot. that tree kind of makes Charlie Brown's tree look better. So this was released in 1936. And I didn't mention that, and I should have. Yeah, it was released the same year as Somewhere in Dreamland. And if you noticed when it did like that little swivel when it showed the orphanage sign and everything, um, it looked very 3D, almost like it was a miniature. It's funny how often we will take for granted a lot what I said it in my podcast episode where it was like, well, back in the day, I hate that excuse because we're hearing it more and more. Well, back in the day, they didn't have this. Back in the day, they didn't have that. And it's like, but they did. And especially in the 30s. I mean, in the they were in the Great Depression at this time. I mentioned it in the other cartoon reaction. And the, like cartoons and performers were expected to boost morale. Um, the president at the time told, I know for a fact that it was the circus had to go on tour to boost morale. I mean, and and they did. Uh, Circus went around, boosted morale. These cartoons boosted morale in one way or another. And I mean, it's just, it was a very, I mean, saying it was a tough time is a massive understatement. We can't even imagine what it was like at the time. I mean, I said before in the other cartoon reaction, that listening to my parents and I mean my great grandparents and my grandparents, what it was like, I can't even imagine what it was like. You know, you just can't. But the thing about it is that they were experimenting with what they had, what little they had in the way of supplies. They were experimenting. So that little swivel to make it look 3D, and then to come around and say, "Oh yeah, 3D in cartoons is a new concept." Mm, no, it's not. And the other one that I don't like, the other statement I don't like is hearing where it's, um, well, nothing is new anymore. You're just not trying hard enough to find new ideas. It's out there. Anyway, let's see these kids wake up for Christmas. Best alarm clock ever. Oh, oh, is that a Mickey Mouse doll? I think it is. Oh no. Oh. got me. And reading comments for this particular cartoon, every person said, and it's especially the child with the teddy bear, that's when the tears flow. It'll get you. I mean, kids love teddy bears. I'm surprised that Pooh is still with me. I mean, we have pictures of me dragging him along by his ears. And I mean, this arm right here is and everything. I mean, teddy bears are actually pretty new, just in the last century, because if you don't know the story behind teddy bears, Teddy Roosevelt refused to shoot a bear. And so they're named after him, Teddy Roosevelt, Teddy Bear. And so these toys were manufactured because of him. And it was actually experimental and they just took up. Kids loved them. Kids loved them so much. And and they still do today. You buy a child a teddy bear and they love them to pieces. And it's but that scene is the one that gets everybody. The child gets a teddy bear and it immediately breaks and it just it it's heart-wrenching. It's and I said it in the other one where you see these two kids and they want these toys, uh they want the goodies and they can't have them. And so Max Fleischer knew how to get the audience, and this one really gets them, even now today. And but the side note on it was the little baby. I'm pretty sure that is a Mickey Mouse doll. Now, of course, Mickey Mouse, even though these two were um Walt Disney and Max Fleischer were in competition. They were the top animators of the day. There were others who were animating as well. But it's funny to me that there's a Mickey Mouse doll in a Max Fleischer because for those of you that don't know, when Walt Disney did 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Max Fleischer's son actually worked on it. And there's a whole story behind that. I'm not going to get into it here, but yeah, he of course that was years later. That was I think 20 years later after this because I think that was in the 50s. Yeah, that was in the 50s. And one of my favorites. I do like that movie. I have it. So so basically, yeah, these two were in competition, and then to see I don't remember ever seeing anything having to do with Max Fleischer in a Walt Disney cartoon, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, I mentioned in the other cartoon, I mean, in the other reaction where their cartoon style was similar, but it was just the style of the day. So, but anyway, let's see what happens to these poor kids. Is Christmas ruined? What a transition. Oh no. Love the anchor. Oh dear. Here we go. Now, if you don't know, this is Professor Grampy. Professor Grampy showed up in the Betty Boop cartoons. And of course, every once in a while, he would show up, just like here, he would show up in the other cartoons. And a fun character, absolutely fun character that Max Fleischer created. And it's a lot like where Walt Disney would have these characters that would mingle with all these, a lot like Chip and Dale. You know, Chip and Dale would interact with Mickey and Donald and Pluto, you know, kind of like that. And I'm not saying that Chip and Dale are exactly like Professor Grampy, but no, not at all. But you know, you would have these particular characters where you could just insert them anywhere, you know, and so in this case, Professor Grampy shows up in this particular cartoon. It works. And so let's see what plan he's got up his sleeve. I love his laugh. And the way he runs and walks, he's a great character. Whoever came up with him, absolutely. I always remember as a kid watching cartoon characters spit nails like that. I thought when I get older, I wanted to do that. Never did it. There he goes. Oh, these poor kids. He's really getting into it. You know, that's another thing to think about is, you know, you have this orphanage, and the great thing about it is like both Walt Disney, Max Fleischer, and other cartoonists as well, we got to give them credit, is none of the characters look the same. I mean, even when you saw all the kids sitting on the floor just bawling their these poor kids when they were bawling their eyes out, none of them look the same. They may have the same color outfit, you know, the same color night clothes, but they were all different. They, I mean, so you know, you got to give these cartoonists from the time period credit because you have a room full of children and they make them all look different. One of them that I mentioned in the other uh was the water babies. And they could have just done a repeat, you know, recycled and everything. I I went and looked for that one and I saw I'm pretty sure that there's you know, because Disney's snarky right now, and they have those collector tins with the silly 50s. We have it, And so, but you can see like little bits and pieces, probably even find clips, like screenshots. That's what I'm looking for. And none of the kids look the same. They've got the cherub face, so it makes it look the same, but those kids do not look the same. Nowadays, what they do is they copy and paste, and you look behind, and it's like this section looks the same as this section, and that's yeah. It's just they have this big crowd scene, and it because they're saving time and money. So, um, yeah, but and and especially in the 30s, they had to save money. And yet they're taking the time to make every child look different in this facility. And a side note, where are the adults in this? Where did they go? I'm sure there's a lot of you that are like, this guy just sneaks in and just takes, I mean, it's great what he's doing and everything, but he just sneaks in. Trust me, adult me was thinking the same thing. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, he's really getting into it for these kids. What fun. I don't think that's possible. See, it looks 3D. And that's the end. Yeah, really gets ya. But it's a sweet little cartoon. I'm glad that you reminded me of it. And as soon as I heard the title of it, the song went into my head. Like I said, it's Herman's Hermits needs to be removed for a while. And and in this one, the animation does look very 3D, especially with the tree. And when they do the little swivel of the orphanage sign, and Professor Grampy is is a great character. He's one of my favorite Max Fleischer characters, and so I'm glad that he's in here. And I did a good thing for those kids. Yeah, this one is a it'll get you. And now I'm curious. Now I'm curious if there was um like a reference to Max Fleischer in a Disney cartoon. I don't remember ever seeing one because I'll go back and watch and of course I will have the cartoon in the description box for you. I try to do that with every one. And but I'm pretty sure that the little guy got, the really little the little guy got a Mickey Mouse doll. So, um, if those of you who know, please by all means because I don't know every single silly symphony or cartoon that Walt Disney put out. No, no, no. But if you know, let us know. I'm curious now because, like I said, I'll go back and look, and then I will let you know if that is a Mickey Mouse. It looked like it, but that doesn't mean anything. He was probably be Max Fleischer probably made it look like it, but not quite. Anyway, that is Christmas Comes But Once a Year.